What's up, everybody? How's everybody doing this evening? I had to take a little micro break. Glad to be back. This is gonna be this gonna be a good one. This is gonna be a good one today. Try to let try to let it. Let's see if we can get a couple people in here. Run a little bit behind as usual. Trying to get it together, y'all. Bear with me. Bear with me. It's good to be back too. For real, to be honest. Good to be back. I was going to go live the after the national championship game, but I chose to hold back on that. I said I'll just go live Wednesday because I am working on some really cool stuff, man. I cannot wait to debut with you guys. So this is exciting for me, and I hope you guys like what we're working on for real. Let's just see if we can get YouTube to actually get the notifications out to people. If not, we're gonna get the show started here real soon. And, we got a pretty good list. We got a pretty good list of things to go over today. Let's see here. Hope everybody's having a good evening. I know the weather all over the place has been ugly. I know you guys saw over in Russia. I know no one's really keeping up with what's going on in Russia, but have you guys seen the weather over there? The weather over there is crazy. Crazy. I mean, a guy was able to jump out of his like 4 foot apartment building, like his fourth floor apartment building, into the snow. That's how high the snow is. Like it's like 4 times the height of a car. That's how much snow has dropped in Russia. I mean it. I mean, I thought we had it. We had it pretty bad with the weather over here in the United States. Russia, who they getting hit hard. They are getting hit hard. It seems like it's a global thing. everybody's catching a weather push for real, to be honest. Yeah, so we're just trying to let a couple more people come in. Hopefully, some people see the lives. Uh, Still trying to wake this channel up. So we gonna get it there. You know what we do, brick by brick. I appreciate everybody who is either seeing it, comes in and comments. I appreciate you guys. We gonna keep doing this. We are going to keep doing this. We gonna get people to know this channel. That's a fact. And we got a lot more stuff coming up. Believe me when I'm telling you. It's a lot coming up. A lot coming up. But we got some good stuff. I don't know if you guys I don't know if you guys saw the list that I put out on I put it out on X. I put it out on I put it in the YouTube post. So, make sure you guys are checking the YouTube post too. Because the YouTube post I am going to start basically putting out the notifications over there and what the show is going to be about. Because there's only but so much you could put in your thumbnail. You don't want the thumbnail all jumbled up with a whole bunch of stuff on it. So I want to try to make the thumbnail as clean and presentable as possible. But it's more to the show than just the maybe what's on the thumbnail. If there's some unique way for me to put everything on it, I would. But I want it to be as clean as possible. Yeah, and I had somebody ask me. Some people actually asked me about the podcast format. Is it going to audio only? It will be coming to audio only. I thought I had it set up correctly, and I just found out actually today that it is not set up correctly at all. And I finally got the right tutorial to do everything. So it's going to take me about a good hour and a half or so to get it all set up. So I'll start setting that up tomorrow, and the show will be in a podcast format too, and it'll be on everything you listen to, from the Spotify's to the Apples to the Amazon, all of the above. Whatever you listen to podcast on, I think I think iHeartMedia is available, so it'll be everywhere where you can listen to any of your podcast or radio shows or whatever the case may be. So that's coming too. That is coming too. So we doing some things, man. It's just uh, trying to do a lot of this back work. Trying to make sure we put on a good show with you guys, and make this a place you want to be. Like I tell you guys, we gonna have fun over here. We not gonna just do hot takes over here. I know a lot of people love the hot takes, and that's cool and all. Everybody's gonna have a hot take at some point in time, but you want to have context to what you're talking about. You don't want to just be running off at the mouth, and you really don't have a no details or anything to back it up. You just saying something for shock value. If you want shock value, this ain't the spot for you. You know what I mean? We gonna have fun. If something comes shocking out of it, then okay, cool. But not just be doing it just to be doing it. That ain't what we doing over here. So uh, yeah, so we about to get into this show. Uh, let's see here. So we gotta talk about let me see where we at. Let me get back in here. Okay. Okay, who is this? Luke Murdoch. What's good? Hey man, what's good, man? Appreciate you checking in on the show. Appreciate you. This first time I seen your name, man. Appreciate you sliding through. Let me so this is gonna be a good show because with the hirings and the firings and everything going on. So we gonna do a little housekeeping with that. Um, but we about to get into the CJ Stroud dilemma. You guys saw the and if you got the list, if you see the list, it's in no particular order. It's in no particular order. I just put the list together. It even helps me, um, keep the subjects in my face. You know what I mean? Like, it'd be so many things that's going on in the football world. You be like, I wanted to talk about this and I wanted to talk about that. And you don't even get a chance to do it because you have talked about something else or you might have drifted off into something else. So uh, it helps me. It helps me to be totally honest. Put like a list together. It's almost like being a musician. You put your set list together and all these things. So um, yeah, so we gonna go ahead and get into this. Um, like I said, you guys, leave comments, like, subscribe, share the page. We got lives, we got videos, we got all of that other stuff. Uh, you know, um, join the practice squad. That's what we call it over here. For us, armed armchair quarterbacks or whatever you want to call us, don't mean that we ain't got no knowledge and we don't know the game. We deep into this thing. So let's uh let's get this article up. And this is about the CJ Stroud dilemma. Uh, this has been something that has been brewing the last couple of weeks because he has played so bad. And I'm talking about CJ Stroud. I don't know what's going on with CJ. And like, it's a difference between just playing bad football. Playing bad football is playing bad football. It's nothing wrong with that. It's going to happen. You're never going to get it all the way right all the time. But the type of football that give me 1 second here, guys. Let's see here. 1 second. 1 second. I'm gonna have me a producer soon. I'm gonna have a producer soon as I get up there with the big boys, I'll have me a producer. It'll help. It will help. So uh, let's get into this. No more holding on. Uh, oh, Luke, that's your prediction, huh? Patriots Seahawks, huh? Okay, okay. I'll give my prediction Friday. I'll come back Friday and give my prediction. Can't go wrong either way with whatever you believe in this situation. Ain't no wrong answers. Ain't no wrong answers at all. And I appreciate the comment, man. Appreciate you stick around, man. We gonna have fun over here. So let's get into this though. So I was talking about CJ Stroud, and we know CJ has had. I mean, this year, for real, to be honest with you, has been a rough year for CJ. Um, they started off the season slow. He wasn't playing well the first part of the season. I think they were what were they like 2-5 or something crazy, right? Then CJ went down. People don't remember because it seemed like it was ions ago that the Texans took off once Davis Mills came in. Davis Mills played really good complementary football, and the Texans went on a run, especially with that defense being as good as it is. They went on a run, and that's how they pretty much made that playoff push. And we got into playoff time. His CJ's play was a little rough. it wasn't all that great going into the playoffs, and they said, hey, CJ will start to get it together. The time is now. You got to lock in this playoff time. Shake the cobwebs off, and even if he just plays complimentary football, the Texans got a chance, right? At least that was my thoughts, and that was probably a lot of other people's thoughts because that defense was so good. Well, they played the Pittsburgh Steelers, and he had how many turnovers? 3 or 4 turnovers in that game, and the Texans was able to pull out the game. But it wasn't because of C.J. Stroud; it was because that defense locked down that Steelers offense so much, and the Steelers offense is so inept that all those turnovers, unless the Steelers was able to get a couple pick six or those forced fumbles to turn into touchdowns, they couldn't even get no offense. So once the Texans got a couple points on them, they was able to get rolling. And even CJ at the end, he was getting the ball to Christian Kirk. And, it was like, okay, he's starting to figure it out. Okay, next week, he's going to be ready. And CJ was not ready at all. 4 picks in the first quarter. He looked like a deer in headlights. He just looks like he does not know what's going on. And for him to be such a good processor of the football, and like I said, his first year was just out of his world. And I've seen a lot of people talk about where he had that moment with Caleb Williams where he was almost like he was sunning him because he felt like he was on top of the mountain and everything else. Uh, and like I get it, like he's trying to do a little too much. I do, I get it. Caleb had a bad game. Caleb's feeling like he could do more than what he thought he could do. I think that was his first year. He had the welcome to the NFL moments. And, CJ tried to come over there like he was, Tom Brady or somebody or Drew Brees, like he had been in the league 4 or 5 years or at least, a 10-year vet. Listen, I'm in the league. This looks like it's easy, all these things. And now he's having that moment in that third. I think what year is CJ in at this point now? I want to say he's in his fourth year. He's in his fourth year, and he's struggling so much. Like he's really backsliding from even the second year. Okay, it was a little bit of sophomore slump. It didn't look like that rookie year coming out of the gate. But he's backsliding so much. So that's just a setup to what we're about to look at right now. So I'm about to put this on the screen right now. And who wrote this article? This is NFL Insider sheds light on CJ Stroud Texas contract situation. It says, how will the Houston Texans handle CJ Stroud's contract situation this offseason? This was wrote by Jared Cox. This is actually, what's this, like 30 minutes ago. So let's see what Jared says. He's a pretty good writer. He always has some interesting articles. He does really, really good work. He's going to get you the details on what people are thinking, and he has good work to go off of. I actually had another article, but this is perfect. I'm glad that this came up. It says, with the Houston Texans season officially coming to an end, the buzz is already ramped up for what the future holds regarding CJ Stroud's next contract with the team as the window for extension negotiations officially open, along with what's to be had for his fifth-year option to be decided on later this offseason. Before the Texas divisional round matchup versus the New England Patriots, the expected decision regarding Stroud's fifth year was pretty clear cut. But now, with a career worst 4 interception performance in the rearview mirror, that led to an eventual 28-16 demise, questions have begun popping up on whether that plan might have shifted from the Houston front office to keep their signal caller on for year 5. Wow. Hold on here. According to ESPN's Adam Schefter, though, the odds that Stroud will have his 5th-year option picked up are looking more likely than not, especially when factoring in that Carolina Panthers are expected to be picking up their option on their quarterback, Bryce Young, selecting just one spot ahead of the Texas quarterback in the 2023 draft. So, wait a minute. Wow. Was that 2023? So, this is the 3rd year. 2023. Okay, yeah, this is the 3rd year. Okay, okay. So he's been 3 years. Yeah, he's going into the 4th year. Okay, him and Bryce Young is going into the 4th year. Uh, he says, we already know that the Panthers are picking up the 5th-year option for the number 1 pick in that draft. Bryce Young, I don't think there's any way the Texans don't pick up the 5th-year option on CJ Stroud. They're going to pick it up, Schefter said. Now, the question is, do they extend him or do they let him play it out? How do they handle it? Uh, they also say, Schefter also says, do they feel confident in Davis Mills, who went unbeaten in his 3 starts this year? Mills was 3-0. They signed him to a new 2-year extension during the season. I think they probably think they're going to be okay with CJ Stroud and Davis Mills. Let's see here. Let's see if they're saying anything else. Okay. He finished up his 3rd year in Houston. Stroud had 14 games on the field to put together. He had basically 3,000 yards, 19 touchdowns, 8 interceptions, and a 64.5% completion rating. Let's see. See if they say anything else that's worth talking about here. Uh, okay, led them to the playoff wins. We got all of that stuff. Let's see here. Anything else? Okay. So basically, we got the gist of the article. Um, it gave you all the numbers and everything else. And here's the thing, they're definitely going to pick up his 5th-year option. This isn't anything that's crazy. Because, one, want to bring up a couple other things too about the CJ Stroud thing. But the number one thing about it is, why wouldn't you pick up his 5th-year option? You know, he's still the quarterback that you drafted. You know what's inside of him. Also, that gives you another year not to have to sign him on a big extension. And this is what I talk about with quarterbacks all the time. It's so hard. You can get these guys when they're young and they can do all these great things and they can put up all the numbers and everything else. But if you start to see them backslide or their development goes bad or anything like that, and then you sunk $55 million, $60 million into your quarterback, that's 20 to 25% of your cap gone, depending on how you structured your cap. You know, once you start paying your quarterback, that's your franchise quarterback, which means he's going to be an eraser to a lot of what your team has going on. Whether you don't have the greatest receivers around them or the greatest running backs around them or, you know, the offensive line isn't there or whatever the case may be. And that's the thing, too. Uh, while CJ has looked horrific, like I said, dude is seeing ghosts. I was so high on CJ Stroud coming out of Ohio State, especially being that I'm from Ohio. I got to watch him. He was not, you know, even as well as he played at Ohio State, that system never fit him. And for him to go into that system and run that system the way he did and still make them contenders was amazing to me. And I said, once he gets into that pro style system, he's a better pro style quarterback than he was a college quarterback to me. And as you've seen him over the last few years, you can tell that's what he excels more at. But now it's like he can't, sense a blitz. Like I said, he's seeing ghosts. His accuracy is bad, and that's one thing C.J. Stroud is known for, is his accuracy. His accuracy has been terrible. Just throwing it to the other team, it's like he's not even paying attention to what's going on. He's all over the place with his throws. And like I said, that 5th-year extension for these organizations is so vital because you look at Bryce Young too. Bryce Young has been up and down. He's been all over the place. And, it seems like he's starting to finally figure it out. Do Carolina feel like they have their franchise guy? They're probably starting to lean that way. But that 5th-year option really helps. Like it's one of those things where it's like a parachute before you sink all this money into them. And you had Daryl Ryder, which is a Cleveland-based journalist, and he was on 92.3 The Fan. And the Browns always got a quarterback situation. It ain't never a year where they don't have a quarterback situation. And he brought up C.J. Stroud getting traded to the Browns for one of their first-round picks. And everybody thought that was crazy. Oh, this is crazy. This is unbelievable. This and this and this and that. Listen, I'm here to tell you guys, your favorite quarterback, if they have a rough patch, a rough year, maybe a rough 2 years, and they're on the verge of being owed some money, they can be traded. And I know it sounds crazy to a lot of you guys, but if that quarterback cannot lift the team, right? Lift them to a point where, like I said, the pieces and parts may not be great around them, but they can move forward with that person. They're not a hindrance to the team. They can do all those things, then they're going to keep them. Elite quarterbacks deserve to be paid 55, 60 million, whatever it is, the numbers. And the numbers just keep going up at this point. The numbers are going up every year. Dak Prescott makes $60 million a year. The next quarterback that comes and resets the market is going to make 62, 63, right? So, yes, is the NFL making more money? As always, the NFL is printing money, this and this and that. But at some point, they're gonna I don't know how much the salary cap is going up. We don't have those numbers yet, but it's not gonna keep going up like crazy. You know what I mean? And we're already at this point where your quarterback is getting $60 million. Tell me right now that CJ Stroud, which the way he's played in the last 2 years, especially as of recent, the way he's played in the playoff games and he's played this season, would you give CJ Stroud an extension for 4 years, $240 million right now? Leave it in the chat if you believe that. If you're a GM today, are you giving CJ Stroud that type of money? That's impossible money. In my opinion, there's no way I can give CJ Stroud an extension today. Let's go look at the highest quarterback contracts right now. We all gonna look at them in a second here. Let me see here. me see something real quick here. Let's see. I want y'all to see this. We're on NFL.com. Ranking the NFL's biggest contracts for 2025. Dak Prescott, $60 million a year. $60 million. Josh Allen, $55 million. Joe Burrow, $55 million. Trevor Lawrence, $55 million. Jordan Love, $55 million. Tua Tagovailoa, straight robbery, $53.1 million. Brock Purdy at 53, Jared Goff at 53, Justin Turbot, Justin Herbert, 52.5 million. Lamar, 52, and he's about to get a contract renegotiation. Oh, and that's where I forgot to put into the thing. We got a story on him too. We need to talk about. He had 52 million. Jalen Hurts is at 51 million. This is what I'm talking about right here. And Micah Parsons, okay. Now Micah Parsons, you got Kyler Murray. Okay, so y'all get where we're going with all of this. Tell me right now on that list, with that list that you guys saw, and this league is about what have you done for me lately. Show me where CJ Stroud is worth $60 million a year. Is he on the level of Lamar Jackson? These are questions that you guys can ask yourselves. Is he on the level of Lamar? Is he on the level of Josh Allen? Justin Herbert? Joe Burrow? We ain't even add Patrick Mahomes. Where would you rate CJ Stroud right now? Where would you put him? There's no way, in good faith, we're being honest here, in good faith, that I could turn around and then go give CJ Stroud $60 million after what we just saw. And we're not just talking about he had a bad playoff game or he's had uh, a bad two playoff games. He was not really good all year. He was okay last year, so he's regressed. And one of the greats talked about that, and we're about to pull that up too. Because his game has regressed. He's not the same guy. Why? We don't know. Shannon Sharp said something about it. We gonna get to what Shannon said, but we gonna get to what Troy Aikman said. Let's see if I can pull this up real quick. Uh, let's see here. Let's see. All right, let's pull this up here real quick. So, ESPN color commentator Troy Aikman believes that this could bring about a moment of reckoning for the Texans as they look to get over the hump with their 24-year-old quarterback, D'Amico Ryans and Nick Casario. This is Troy Aikman talking. They got some tough decisions they got to make about this team on the offensive side of the ball. Aikman said, referencing Houston coach and general manager combination. Uh, Aikman went on to detail the trouble the Texans have endured attempting to replicate the success Stroud enjoyed as a rookie. He noted the team tried to jumpstart the young signal caller by parting with offensive coordinator Bobby Slowick following the 2024 season, but that still didn't help Stroud regain his rookie season form. CJ has been chasing his rookie success for the last 2 years. Aikman opined he's not been the same player. We have not seen the development from him. There's a reason for that, and it has to be addressed. Uh, I mean, Aikman ain't lying. He's telling the truth. You know, this is an issue. This is an issue. This isn't a situation where he's telling the truth. And I couldn't understand when they fired Bobby Slowick either. Yes, he had a down year, but the Texans had so many problems on their offensive line. And this is what I say about young quarterbacks. Yes, they could be a flash in the pan. They could be ready. They could look like they ready. They coming out the gate ready. You do know defenses adjust to them, right? They adjust to them. And I think what we seeing in Chicago with Ben Johnson, with Caleb Williams, to me, who is not Caleb has great qualities about him, but he's not a great quarterback, at least not yet. It's the consistent things that he needs to work on. But you know what Ben Johnson did in Chicago? Because he's trying to fit a circle piece into a square hole. He leaned on the running game. He leaned on the running game. The running game comes first in Chicago before anything else. And Caleb Williams is mad athletic. CJ Stroud is athletic to a point, but he is really a pocket quarterback. Why not build his team to lean on the run? When he's struggling, lean on the run. Defenses have caught up with these offenses in the NFL. This is why the scores are back down. These defensive coordinators are showing different looks. They're showing like, uh, different formations where it's a lot of disguises that they're showing. And what's happening is a lot, especially these young quarterbacks, they can't see these disguises. And you got them over here throwing these balls all over the lot. Now, Shannon Sharp has something else to say. Uh, we're gonna bring up Shannon Sharp real quick, and then we're gonna move on to the next subject. Let's see here. Shannon be on his soapbox. I think I put it in my favorites here. Let's see. And this is another point, and I think this was a good point from Shannon, to be honest. Uh, Let me see if they put it on here. Okay, all right. Let's get into it. Let's listen to this real quick. Let's see. Trying to see if they have that full clip here.
Watch film all week. All right, I can't go into this game. I understand the importance of this game. I can't do one thing. I can't put the ball in harm's way. I can't turn the ball
This is
over. I just
courtesy of
can't. And the
Nightcap.
watch film, to understand that you got by the grace of God, and you come back in this game and you still do. Come on now. You got the best defense that can take you all the way to Santa Clara. All I have to do as the quarterback of this team is don't put the ball in harm's way.
Don't turn it over.
That's it. I mean, it sounds easy, obviously, sitting here on the goddamn,
No, it's not.
But it's not.
I would have thought he learned his lesson Monday night, Ocho. We talked about it.
Come on.
We talked about it, Ocho. He fumbled 4 times. They got 2 of them back.
Yeah.
So he had 2 fumbles and 2 picks, right? Or would he have 2 fumbles and 1 pick? What did he have on Monday? But he got 7 turnovers in 2 games.
Yeah.
Ocho, this is what Troy Aikman said on the broadcast. C.J. Stroud has been chasing his rookie success for the last 2 years. He's not been the same player. We've not seen the development from him. There's a reason for that, and it needs to be addressed. Now, when Shannon said C.J. Stroud has not been the same since his rookie year, what they say, Ocho? Go ahead and tell them, because what they say about when I say CJ has not been the same.
They say you hating, huh? They say you hating.
You hating? Where is that energy for the white quarterback?
Quarterbacks.
Now, what y'all say about Troy? Maybe because Troy played the quarterback position, and
Yeah.
you know what? I'll give you that.
Right.
He played at an elite level. The guy was a Super Bowl MVP, led a team to 3 Super Bowls. So if you want to say, well, Shannon, Troy know more about that position, I'll concede that. But all he said was the exact same thing that I said. It was just a different voice. You see, C.J. Stroud, he got intoxicated by the success that he had. Listen at him talk. This man said his rookie season, he was one of the 5 best quarterbacks in the NFL. As a rookie.
Yeah.
He was going on everybody's platform. He that guy. And he's regressed every year. But y'all don't want to have real conversations. Y'all want us to, because before, you wanted guys like Ocho and myself, guys that played the game at an elite level. Mm-hmm. But then when we tell you the harsh truth, where's that energy? I said something today, Ocho. I said, think about this. I said, Chad, think about this. If we want to debate Peyton and Tom, Joe Montana and Patrick Mahomes. Mm-hmm. Okay, we can critique that. I say, think about this here. Y'all talking about Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson. Neither guy has won a championship, and now we're debating who's turned the ball over the most in a playoff game.
We gonna leave that one right there. But you get the point. It don't take you to play NFL football. You could have played high school like I played myself. You could just be somebody that's on your couch watching with 2 eyes. C.J. Stroud has not been good. He has regressed since his rookie season. And one thing Shannon Sharp said that you cannot take away from him is C.J. Stroud did get high off of his success. Just like he said, he want to go on all the podcasts. Then he had the podcast with Michael Parsons for a while. I think as a quarterback, this is going to be the last thing we touch on. We're going to move on to something else. I think as a quarterback, you have to be so stoic. The wide receivers, the running backs, the edge rushers, whoever, they can go do all the podcasts they want. They can go do all the crazy stuff they want to do because that's just them. You know what I mean? Like, if they diva stuff, whatever. They can go do all of that. Your quarterback is the general. I talk about this all the time. While all the guys out there having fun and playing around and doing all this, not saying you're not going to do appearances. You're going to do appearances. That comes with being a quarterback. You are the face. You are the star. You get paid the most money. So, yes, you're going to do certain things. But C.J. Stroud was doing a weekly show. I said it then. Why is he doing a weekly show? You're the quarterback. You're the quarterback, not the wide receiver. You have to do things different. You game planning with the coach on what y'all about to do on Sunday. That's why you get paid the big bucks. You the general. Why it's just like being in the army. You know, the soldiers out at the bars or whatever before the, whatever goes on, but the general is in strategizing. We going here. We gonna be right here. We gonna ambush here. We gonna go in this way. We gonna go in that way. The quarterback does not have the luxury that any other player have on the team. That's just the nature of the beast. And that is the position in itself. That's why you make $20 million more or $15 million more than any other position in the league. You are the face. You don't see offensive linemen. You might see some defensive linemen or whatever out here, getting the endorsement deals. But the quarterback, for the most part, gets everything. Because when they the hero, they love. But when they the GOAT, and not the GOAT in a good way, they going to get criticized. And I think this should be a humbling thing for CJ. So if I'm the Texans, no, I do not talk about no contract extension. He's going to sign that 5-year option. And if he's shaky on that, we go franchise tag him after that. I'm not running to give a quarterback 5 years, $300 million a year. And this is the type of quarterback play you get just because you want to say, I feel like I have a franchise guy. No, is he your franchise guy? And if the Texans don't believe in him, and don't be surprised, and I'm not saying this is not a high take. If they don't believe in him and they don't want to give up that type of money because now the money matters, you're going to see quarterbacks get moved in that 4th or 5th year before they have to be re-signed at that big price to teams. So if the Browns wanted CJ Stroud and the Texans wasn't sure on CJ, let's just say, and this is hypothetical, using it for an example, and the Browns say, hey, CJ on an expired contract, he has not played well, but we feel like he can be our franchise guy, I'm going to give y'all a 1 and a 2. If the Texans felt like Davis Mills or whoever they drafted or whatever, then they may be in the right to do something like that. We're going to see more quarterback movement than we've ever seen before. We're going to see that more than we've ever seen that before. Because these teams are not going to want to pay $55, $60 million for a quarterback that is not elite. How do you think the Miami Dolphins feel right now paying Tua? After he had came off all the concussions, his game had regressed. But they felt like we can't look crazy and not pay our quarterback that was good or had been good. And now they're on the hook for $53 million. They're hoping whoever comes in, and they brought in Jeff Hafley, that he can bring some of that Green Bay Packers magic over there, like he didn't have Mike McDaniel with Tua. Bring him over there in some way, somehow reinvigorate Tua, or Tua is going to be the highest backup in NFL history. That's what I'm saying. So it's a situation like these quarterback situations is real. These quarterback situations is real. So we gonna jump into the next subject. This went totally too long. This is why I'll be getting as soon as we get this together, we gonna have a producer. But this went totally too long. So we got to go into Baker. Baker being Baker. Holy smokes! Here we go with Baker. Oh man, Baker doing Baker things. Let's see. Do I have it in here? Let's see. Apologies, guys. My allergies is doing everything but what they supposed to be doing. Let's see. This will probably be pretty quick, but All right, so let's jump into this real quick. So good old Baker back for real now. Uh, so D Orlando Ledbetter, who's been with like the Atlanta Journal for forever, uh, good journalist. Basically, he gave his synopsis on Kevin Stefanski. He said he had a dumpster fire at the quarterback in Cleveland. Baker Mayfield and Deshaun Watson failed, which started a chain reaction to 11 other starters. Quarterback Shedeur Sanders closed out last season with 7 starts. And, he's doing his job, but, I'm not going to say he has the full context of it. So, of course, here comes Baker. Failed is quite the reach, pal. Still waiting on a text and call from him after I got shipped off like a piece of garbage. Can't wait to see you twice a year, coach. He's talking about Kevin Stefanski. And if anybody knows Baker, Baker is petty. And, when we talk over here at Dee Knows, when we talk over here, we're going to talk truth. And we're going to talk with context. And two things can be right at the same time. If anybody know me, I am a Baker fan. Baker did lead the Browns to the playoffs, beat the Steelers in the playoffs in the pandemic year. Had a great game against Kansas City. This is just a quick backstory. Then the next year, Baker came in. I think he played pretty decent for the first couple games, and then he hurt his shoulder. Tried to play through it. I think the organization wanted him to play through it too. It just screwed everything up. So that means Baker played bad on his 5th-year option, I think, or something like that. And they saw the window to get Deshaun Watson, so they pretty much kicked Baker to the side. Now, there's context to that, right? Now, at the same time, if you know Baker when Baker first came into the league, when he had the moment in Ohio State where, he did all the grabbing of his junk and planting the flag in Ohio State's middle of the field and all that. Everybody knows Baker is very brash. He a little over the top, or he was, especially when he first came into the league. Over the top, all of these things, right? And all the little run-ins he had, he had the little situation with the cops. He was running from the cops because he was drunk or whatever the case may be. So Baker was a wild child. He was a wild child. And he plays with a big chip on his shoulder. So a lot of what Baker was doing when he first came in, Baker did have a lot of immaturity. He's even talked about it. He had a lot of immaturity, but his immaturity kind of worked to his advantage too at some points, and then at other points it kind of hurt him. So I think his immaturity was it was part of the reason why Cleveland let him go. That was part of the reason. But at the same time, the Cleveland Browns are the Cleveland Browns. The Browns are the Cleveland Browns. And you know what I mean when I say that. They are a dysfunctional organization that got too many hands in the pot. They don't know if they're going left or right. And it was just a bad marriage. It worked for a second. Kevin Stefanski is not he's not innocent in the situation. I think he's a decent coach. I think he has some good points, but he's very rigid. And he exactly wants what he exactly wants. He did not draft Baker Mayfield. John Dorsey drafted Baker Mayfield. And when he drafted Baker Mayfield, he was with Freddie Kitchens. Freddie Kitchens was the offensive coordinator for the Browns, and then they fired him after a year because that was supposed to be Him and Baker was like thick as thieves. And Baker was throwing for yards that year, but it just didn't equate. Freddie just was not a head coach. Okay, fine. They bring in Kevin Stefanski, and they analytics based. Baker got this wild child personality. They just didn't mesh. Like Kevin Stefanski is like super buttoned up. Now I hope as he's taking this Atlanta job, he loosens up more, because I know the Brown situation in itself could make you even more screwed on tight, screwed up like tense. So I thought that situation was just oil and water. It was just oil and water situation. Uh, like I said, Baker had immaturity issues. A whole bunch of craziness was coming out about Baker. But Baker did want to be in Cleveland. Baker wanted to he wanted to be the guy that fixed Cleveland. But like I said, Baker had attitude problems in Cleveland. He was doing a lot of goofy stuff. You go check with, I think Jason Lloyd had put something up the other day. So did Daryl Reiner and the other reporters. So Baker wasn't like innocent in it either. Like I said, it was a marriage that just did not work. It was a marriage that did not work, but I'm mostly blaming on the Browns. Baker had his fault in it too. Baker was able to, go on a humbling type of journey. Carolina and the Rams, whatever, back up and really learn how to play the position. Now he's in Tampa with his own team, right? But now Kevin Stefanski's down there. Kevin Stefanski got a team down there. He got a lot of weapons, so a lot of things are in place with that team down there. Now we'll see how it turns out. But did the rivalry in the NFC East just turn up? Oh, yes, it did. And if you don't think Baker, that old chip on Baker's shoulder, is burning and it getting bigger by the minute, you must be mistaken. He's about to have one of his best years going into this 2026 season, just because Kevin Stefanski's down there. So is Baker petty? Absolutely. Baker's absolutely petty. But that's who he's been. That's part of his shtick. Now I always wonder if Baker don't have an enemy, how does he play? And so far he's been pretty good. Like this year was just a rough year for him, or whatever the case may be. Hurt a shoulder again. But with Kevin Stefanski down there, he gonna turn up. He gonna turn up. I think he did Hugh Jackson the same way. When Cincinnati was there, Baker used to light up Cincinnati because he used to see Hugh Jackson. So, it's a part of Baker's stick. That's just who he is as a person. But were him and the Browns both wrong on both sides? They were. The Browns were more wrong than Baker. Baker was only 20-something years old. The Browns organization was supposed to be able to keep him in play, develop him as a quarterback and as a man. And as you can see, they failed to do both. So we're going to move on from that. We got to go into one that I just didn't see coming. Bills owner and the GM kind of trashed a wide receiver in Keon Coleman. Like, he took a stray because of Sean McDermott. And we got to jump into this real quick. Like, this was crazy. This was so low class. Let's see here. Let's jump into this.
Yeah, can I interrupt? I'll address the Keon situation. The coaching staff pushed to draft Keon. I'm not saying Brandon wouldn't have drafted him, but he wasn't his next choice. That was Brandon being a team player and taking advice of his coaching staff, who felt strongly about the player. And he he's taken, for some reason, heat over it and not saying a word about it. But I'm here to tell you the true story.
Yeah, I mean,
Can I interrupt?
Here's my question to that. Here's what I say to that. Why does that even have to come out? Like it really looks like they had a real issue with Sean McDermott. And if anybody knows Sean McDermott is a stand-up dude. I'm about to say it like we on the playground. You ain't say it to his face. You ain't say it to his face. And Brandon Bean up there looking like a slime ball himself and letting that go on because you stayed your job. Because you the Batman, you the Robin to his to Terry Pegula's Batman. That's not nothing you guys even have to get into. Oh well, Brandon didn't draft him. Sean McDermott wanted him. You throwing your young receiver under the bus. If I'm Keon Coleman, I say, get me out of here. You ain't got to want me. It's somebody else. It's another 31 teams that can use me. Trash behavior. Trash behavior by that organization. Unbelievable. But let's listen to this, since he said he ain't want them.
Big surprises, did you? Which one? Beat you us. It's only got 4, 5, 6.
I'm glad he ran that. Help you get him.
Gabe was mid 4, 5s.
4.54.
4.54. Big surprises, did you?
He said he's glad he ran a sub 4.5. Brandon Bean, because he wanted Keon Coleman. Now somebody lying. Let's listen to this. This is only 16.
When I went to bed that night, I was like, it's Keon unless someone just blows us away. We didn't feel anything was attractive enough for us to pass up on Keon.
All things considered, just get the guy who's feels the best fit. Yep.
When I went to bed that night, I was like, it's.
Now somebody lying. If y'all was at bumping heads, you, Sean McDermott or whatever, that's cool. Okay, listen, every relationship don't work out, whatever the case may be. You bump heads, okay, that's fine, right? But then don't throw the man under the bus because he's out of there and blame draft picks on him. Okay, if that's who he wanted, that's fine. You have to remember the young man is still on the team. Are you serious? That's just Bush League, man. From an owner. And this is why we talking about these owners. There's some great owners out here. And there's some that don't know what they doing, right? And for the most part, I have not heard anything bad about Buffalo's owner. But this right here, you dropped the ball. You didn't need to step in and say nothing. If you believe Brandon Bean is your guy and you ride with him and you got rid of Sean McDermott, then fine. You still got Brandon Bean. He's still in the building. You don't have to come in and say, hey, that wasn't Brandon's pick. That was the coaching staff's pick. That was Sean McDermott's pick. What are we doing? Just corny all around. Just corny all around. Not a good look for the Buffalo Bills. He made himself look like a jackass, both of them. And then you got proof out here on tape that you wanted them. Obviously, you agreed to it. And we're not going to act like these guys don't make collaborative decisions. Everybody's not going to like everybody, or that's their pick. GMs, head coaches, or whatever, scouts, they all collaborate on the board. They make a board on who's on the board, and if their player ain't there, they got to go take somebody else that they think could fit the system that they're running on offense or defense. If that happened to be Keon Coleman and that's who fit at that spot at that time, we all know Josh Allen needed weapons. Wait till y'all see what I got coming up too. Speaking of all of that. But y'all will see what I got coming up with that too. You know that the man need weapons. What is he supposed to do? He drafted the guy. Either he gonna work out or he not gonna work out. Keon Coleman has been hit or miss. He got some maturity things that he got to clean up, and that's on him to do. But I hope he sees this and says, they don't want me. And I hope that lights the fire under him and says, you know what, go be the best you can be and go be that guy because he has the talent. But for them to throw him under the bus, I mean, he was just like, he just called a whole full straight for a GM that you're riding with, that you have autonomy to keep, whether people agree with Brandon Beane being there or not. Brandon Beane want to prove himself. The draft come up here in a month. Free agency, a couple months. Free agency will be here in like a month and a half or whatever it is. Make sure Josh Allen and that team got everything it needs so they can make the runs that they supposed to make. Period. What I'm going to say is that was disrespectful, and if I'm Keon Coleman's agent, you don't want him here? Get him out of here then. Period. Because obviously you don't want him. Don't smile in my face and talk to me nice, and then behind my back you feel a whole nother way. If you feel a whole nother way, get me out of there. Tell me to my face. So then we can move forward. That's it. Period. So we gonna jump into the next one, and we talking about Big Ben Roethlisberger. He gives his take on the Steelers quarterback situation. So we'll jump into that real quick. That's been all right. All right, so let's jump into this real quick. I appreciate you guys rocking with me. Y'all got any questions in the chat? You can always ask. Anything on any of the subjects we touch it on. You guys are a part of what we do. You're a part of the community. By all means, leave something in the comments, and I'm going to make sure that I pull them up and answer them. At some point, we may even get to phone calls, but we got to build up the community and stuff like that. So I appreciate you guys in here hanging out with me this evening. So we're going to go ahead and jump into what Ben said. And it says, Ben Roethlisberger shares his Steelers offseason blueprint. Ben Roethlisberger lays out his offseason plans for the Pittsburgh Steelers. So, as you know, Pittsburgh is without a coach. And Mike Tomlin, who was there almost 20 years, he stepped down, and the Steelers are in a situation they have not been in a long time. And Ben shared his vision for the team. So he said, I would strongly consider a couple things. My first thought is I would want an offensive-minded head coach. That's what I would do if I was the general manager. We've had defensive-minded head coaches in here. That's all they've been, and I'm ready for an offensive guy. I want to score more than 6 points in a postseason game, Roethlisberger said on his latest episode of the Footballing Podcast. Per Steelers Depot, Ross McCorkle. I would love a younger offensive-minded head coach that is maybe up and coming that you're going to bring in here to focus on the defense, on the offense. And then I would say, here's what you need to do. You need to bring in a defensive coordinator that's a veteran defensive coordinator. Maybe a guy that's already had a head coaching job that doesn't want to be a head coach anymore. Additionally, Roethlisberger thinks the Steelers should put a pause on their search for a quarterback in the NFL draft and instead focus on building a complete roster before hitching their wagon to a prospect in at a position. I would not draft a quarterback for at least 2 to 3 years. That's just my opinion, Roethlisberger said. The issue that I see with a lot of teams is they get a quarterback and they try to build around that quarterback. I think it should be the other way around. I think you should build a team and put your quarterback in it. Let's see, he says. In the same vein, Roethlisberger also says he believes the organization should give Will Howard a shot for like 2 to 3 years, and that he have the 2025 6th-round pick start if Aaron Rodgers doesn't return to the team. Let's see. Say anything else? Okay. Okay. So we got everything with being said, and I'll be honest. I like a lot of what being said, and this is what I was talking about with a lot of these guys. Caleb Williams over there in Chicago, C.J. Stroud, even Jaden Daniels, all those guys. I think the day of getting a young first pick or top 5 quarterback and trying to put all these pieces around them is not the smartest thing. Here's why. You're putting pressure on that quarterback to go win right away instead of developing the position. Ben is absolutely right. You're not developing the position. You're telling somebody like Jay Daniels, who had a great run, right? Got to the NFC Championship game, whatever the case may be. Before he got hurt, second year, things starting to kind of come back to reality. Starting to realize that he's just a second-year quarterback. Guess what? They got the film on him, right? They got the film on him. So now that they got this film on him, they're going to know what he does well and what he does not do well. He has a dynamic game. Jade Daniels. We just talked about C.J. Stroud. Same thing. If you notice the trend, all these guys start off on fire because there's no film on them in the NFL. That second year, they kind of hit a wall. Even Caleb Williams, as far as the Chicago Bears got, Ben Johnson is my coach of the year, even though Mike Vrabel has done an amazing job. Guys, go check out the video that I put on the page. Shameless plugging, right? But Mike Vrabel did a great job with Drake May, right? But the job that Ben Johnson did with that team, because he built that team as if he does not have a quarterback. Even though Ryan Poles drafted Rome Odunze and they signed DJ Moore and Luther Burton and all those guys, and they tried to make sure they put all the weapons around Caleb Williams. Okay, that's cool and all. But they fortified the offensive line. They got 2 good running backs. So that team became a run-first team to hide some of Caleb Williams' deficiencies so he could grow into the position. You have to grow into that position. You have to develop into that position. So when Ben says that, he's not wrong. Now, with Ben saying he would like an offensive-minded coach, I don't disagree with it, but I am a big fan of Brian Flores. I think Brian Flores should have never been let go out of Pittsburgh to begin with. And if he gets the job, I'm not mad at that at all. If he gets that job, I hope he's learned his lesson in Miami. Was he right about Tua? Absolutely. but I hope he understands the relationship part that he has to have with his quarterback. And as long as he's innovative on the defensive side, and he understands in order to beat his type of defense, you have to have an innovative offensive mind, then I'm okay with that. As long as he ain't running the Mike Tomlin 2.0, I'm good with Brian Flores. But if it's not him and they can get Nate Shieldhouse, then I'm going to go get Nate Shieldhouse. That McVay tree is that McVay tree. They all win. Everybody that come off that tree does pretty well, right? And he's just a young, bright man. I think he's like 34, 35. And, hopefully he can be a leader of men. But he's been in play for a while. Now, like I said, we know the Steelers' culture is defense first. Listen, I know the Steelers would be a defense first, throwing people on their head. James Harrison, Troy Polamalu, in the era that I really, really, really got to see. I got to see the 90s too. Greg Lloyd, Kevin Green, Levon Kirkland, all those guys. So I got to see all of that. But they've been known for defense, right? That has been their thing. But being said, he want to see him shake it up a little bit. And Nate Shieldhouse wouldn't be a bad fit. I'm just thinking about the concepts that they can run on offense. Because even with Arthur Smith, it was kind of antiquated. It was kind of old. A little stale. Like once those first 5-10 plays don't work, it's kind of like, it's okay. It's okay. It's not. He didn't run anything that got people open. So I can see the Nate Shieldhouse thing, or whoever else it is. And I don't think they can talk to Nate until after this NFC game, whether they win or lose. If they win, I think they get the week to talk. So maybe that's why Pittsburgh hasn't made a decision yet. We'll see. But I like where Ben's mind was at. Will Howard. I want to see Will Howard. I don't think they need to do the bubblegum and duct tape thing. Let Will Howard and Mason Rudolph or whoever go. I mean, I think Mason's ship has sailed. I think he had a chance. He didn't get it done. Okay, fine. But maybe he is ready to be a backup, be the backup. Or, be a free starter to Will Howard. Let Will Howard get ready. See what Will Howard got. Make sure you got the running game. Make sure you got the, on the offensive side of the ball, people that can develop Will Howard, that can come up with game plans to hide the weaknesses and expose the strengths and all of those things. If you can get that going, they may have their guy. I mean, they did draft him. What's the point of drafting him unless you really are sold on somebody else? And if they're not sold on somebody else, why not go with Will Howard? The Pittsburgh Steelers have to realize is you're not going to be able to just keep plugging and play guys. You tried to do that with Mitch Trubisky, Kenny Pickett, Russell Wilson, and then you did it with Aaron Rodgers. I don't think Aaron Rodgers is going to turn around and come back in here. I think Aaron Rodgers should go ahead and ride into the sunset. He played as well as he could. He got the dance in the playoffs, and go home. Because Aaron Rodgers isn't going to adhere to a new system. He's going to go fall back into those ways of the way he wants to play. Now, unless a Nate Shieldhouse does come in here and Aaron Rodgers is like, I love his concepts. I'll run his concepts. Then maybe. But, I would like to see Will Howard. It's time for the Steelers to go into the future and do something different. So, I'm about 90% there with Ben. I wouldn't mind Brian Flores. That's one of my top picks. But Shieldhouse, I wouldn't mind either. So I see where he's going with that. So we'll jump into the next thing. What is the next one? Next one is Geno, Tua, and Kyler Murray are all on the radar for the New York Jets. Wow. Tell me you ain't see that one coming. Let's see. Let's get that up real quick. You know, I wasn't expecting to see that one, but let's see here. So we got I always say his name wrong. I think I'm gonna say it right today though. Rich Samini. There you go. I got it. So after the abstract failure of Justin Fields, man, I think Justin Fields needs to go to running back. I do. Man, he just not cutting it as a quarterback if he wants to extend his career, or just be if you want to be a full time backup. He just never developed like everybody thought he would. It is what it is. But according to Rich Samini from ESPN, one AFC executive wondered if the Jets could make a trade for a veteran, mentioning Tua of the Miami Dolphins, Kyler Murray of the Arizona Cardinals, and Geno Smith of the Las Vegas Raiders. They said, do the Jets get one of these three? That's really the question I have. An AFC executive said they could go young and load up for the 2027 draft of quarterbacks, but the head coach, Aaron Glenn, probably needs to win, so he may look for a more reliable option. All three might be tough sales for the Jets fans, even though each quarterback has certainly enjoyed their fair share of success in the past. Tua was benched for a poor performance in favor of rookie Quinn Ewers in the last three games of the season. Tua finished with 15 interceptions, the highest amount in the NFL. He also has a guaranteed salary of $54 million last year per over the cap. Murray played 5 games before suffering a season-ending foot injury. His 5.88 adjusted yards per attempt were 36 in the NFL. Then, of course, they went to Jacoby Brissett. Kyler Murray has a $36.8 million guaranteed salary in 2026. Geno Smith had a terrible year in Vegas. And it was like I was blocking for Geno Smith. That offensive line was terrible. I mean, the whole situation was just bad in Vegas, as I've reported on, period. So I said that I felt like Geno was cooked, but I might take that back. He may not be as bad as he just made him look in Vegas, to be totally honest. Uh, so basically, what we got there is the Jets are about to go shopping. The Jets are going shopping. Uh, they say Aaron Glenn fighting for his coaching life up there in New York, even though he came into a team it had some pieces, but it had a lot of stank on it. Woody Johnson is the owner. We know what that comes with too. And then they blew up the team. Trade Quentin Williams, you trade Sauce Gardner. You know those guys were probably tired of New York in a sense because they weren't winning, but you still got rid of talented players, all pro players. So I'm just trying to figure out what were the Jets supposed to look like. For everybody to be calling for Aaron Glenn's job, what were the Jets supposed to look like? They took a flyer on Justin Fields. He looked decent in Pittsburgh in some spots, but he never flourished into that guy to keep his job. Whether it was right or wrong by what Mike Tomlin did or not, we can't even speak to that. But he full on got his chance in New York to be that guy. And he just didn't deliver. It didn't turn into winning results. So can't get mad and at Aaron Glenn for them trying to take on a quarterback. You know, it, I mean that was the only thing that was out there, and make this team be whole. Team just was not good. Now they had a pretty decent draft. They drafted Mason Taylor, who I think is a stud. That is the son of Jason Taylor, who also was a legend. You know, the Jets weren't a good team, and then it's always some crazy stuff going on in the background with the Jets. So, until that organization has a chance, has a couple years to kind of get things together, give it a chance. But I can see why they're linked to a Geno Smith, a Kyler Murray, and I don't know why they linked to it. Unless the Dolphins is about to pay a lot of Tua's salary, I can't see them going to Tua. That to me just does not make sense. Geno don't make that much. Kyler, you could argue maybe a change of scenery might help him. He's still decently young. Now he does get hurt a lot, but the Jets got to do something. So they're in a situation where they got to make a move. But to try to blame it on Aaron Glenn is kind of crazy. So we'll see what the Jets do. Free agency will be here soon. So let's jump into the next thing, which is the last thing, actually. And this is the one I've been waiting on. And if you're in the chats or wherever you're at, this is the one. If you were a head coach, who would you want to which job would you want? Would you want the Buffalo Bills job? Josh Allen? You're also taking the circumstances with them too. We just heard Terry Pugula, the owner. Brandon Bean is the GM. But you got Josh Allen. That's your main fixture. You got the running back. Lord, I can't. My man's all over the place today. Well, I can't think right now. My man is just like so much football. Let's see. James Cook. Holy smokes. I'm having a senior moment right now. James Cook. But after that, wide receiver like Shakira. Like Shakira a lot. But Keon Coleman has not flourished into that guy yet. More likely, he's not going to be there. Curtis Samuel didn't really do much this year over there. Dawson Knox and what's the other tight end? They got some good tight ends over there. But the team is kind of incomplete on the offensive side of the football. Defense, a lot to be desired on that side, too. They got to get better. So, you got the Buffalo situation. On the other side, you have the Lamar Jackson and the Baltimore Ravens. They are also without a head coach. Harbaugh was there almost 20 years. We know his track record, his pedigree, and he's out of here, right? So now you have a Lamar Jackson, you got a Zay Flowers, Mark Andrews, you got Lively, you got Derrick Henry, who's looking like he's defying time. Offensive line a little shaky. Offensive line is shaky. Defense starting to kind of pick it up towards the end of the season. You got Nate Wiggins, you got Kyle Hamilton. pass rush absent. Ain't much there. They got to do a lot of stunts and little things to kind of get home, send extra men, that type of thing. So you know what you're dealing with. Which team would you go for if you were the head coach? You want the Lamar Jackson experience with the Baltimore Ravens? You're also in the AFC now that has been this AFC North that has been dismantled. This is almost like a I don't know, questionnaire type of piece. You in the AFC North, the Pittsburgh Steelers are old. They're getting older each day. They have no quarterback. They have no head coach. The Browns, they ain't never got a head coach. Good defense. We don't know what Shador is. So that team is an up in the air team. Then we got the Cincinnati Bengals. The most talented offense could be in the league. Last man standing in the AFC North is Zach Taylor. I don't know what you say about that. So the AFC North is wide open. Do you want that job, right? Or do you want to go to the AFC East? The Dolphins, they had some type of rebuild, just hired Jeff Hartley. Can Tua get back to some type of form, or do they go draft a new guy, or whatever the case may be? So that situation is kind of up in the air. Who else is in the AFC East? Of course, Buffalo's there, which the team that we're talking about. Um, then you have, like I said, we talked about Miami. Let me see something real quick here. So you got them. You got the Jets. We just talked about the Jets. The Jets is a complete rebuild. They're a complete rebuild. But the one team you got to worry about is the Patriots. And they starting to look like they're trying to become the Patriots 2.0 all over again and make that run again. And instead of Tom Brady, it's Drake May. And instead of Bill Belichick, is his disciple and Mike Vrabel. Which job would you want? Lamar in an empty AFC North, or Josh Allen, a rebuilded AFC East, but you got a big dog, at least his first year. This is first year of being a big dog in the New England Patriots. Here's what I would do if I had to make a choice. And like I said, this ain't just one-to-one, quarterback to quarterback. It matters. But if I had to choose a franchise to coach, and I said I wanted to do this live as a live think piece. I didn't want to pre-rehearse this. I really wanted to go through this on the show with you guys. If it was me, I would go. Okay, let me do this. You know what? Let me do this real quick. Let's see here. Let's see. Let's see here. All right, let's pull this up. This is pretty good. So the Ravens now, again, this is how we pick the team. The Ravens have about 35 to 40 million more than Buffalo, who are tight against the cap or even over it initially around $12 million and need to make roster moves to gain flexibility. Despite having strong quarterbacks in Lamar and Josh Allen, the Bills typically restructure contracts to create space while the Ravens have more room to operate. Let's see. Baltimore. See, now they got to restructure Lamar too, actually, this offseason. So they have more flexibility, but heading towards a major cap hit from the quarterback, Lamar Jackson, in 2026. Over 25% of the cap will impact future years. This is what I was talking about. When you get your quarterback uh, taking up 25, 30% of your cap, that's a big deal. Now, Buffalo situation is just as crazy. They say, and even the Ravens, they tight once you look at it. Uh I'm assuming both teams got their draft picks. That's what I'm assuming. I'm assuming both teams got their draft picks. Um, I would go. I would go. Jeez. And I'm a big fan of both quarterbacks. By the way, am I stalling right now a little bit? I trust the Ravens organization more. If I had to choose between the two quarterbacks, I want Josh over Lamar. And I like both quarterbacks. It's just splitting hairs. But I'm going with the Ravens organization. The Ravens organization knows how to bring the pieces in around Lamar. Now, does Lamar and at the time or whoever else is on that team, do they got to finish the job? Yes, they do. Both guys have not gotten over the hump yet, even with Patrick Mahomes out. They did not get over the hump. But the organization that I trust more is definitely the Ravens. And we just saw that clown show we just saw today with Terry Pegler and Brandon Bean. And I hadn't even really had much to say about the Bills owner. Like I said, I haven't heard anything bad about him. I heard he's actually been a pretty good guy for the most part. That was just a goofy situation for them today. But Brandon Bean has not put the pieces, to me, together the way he should in Buffalo to maximize their talent. You knew that they needed wide receivers over there, all of this stuff. So I can't go with that situation over there. I would have to go with Baltimore. Still got Eric DeCosta in place. Uh, pretty good, pretty good evaluator of talent. Um, was able to get a Derrick Henry. Was able to get a Zay Flowers. You know, Rashad Bateman's come along and got lively. They just got a better supporting cast than what the Bills has been able to put together. The Bills have had to do a lot of band-aiding, you know. And I like Brandon Cooks a lot, but he's just not a number one. You know, he never reached that full potential because he could never really stay healthy. And to have him as your number one over there, and you knew you guys needed a receiver, and that's the only move that you made this year. No, nope. So if it was my choice, I would definitely go with the Ravens situation. Outside of the coach being gone, they've had more stability. And you know what's funny? Will Sean McDermott go over to Baltimore? Might be a possibility. Stranger things have happened, right? You know, had this happened earlier, John Harbaugh might have went to Buffalo. You know, had the Giants' job had to come up the way it came up, they could have probably swapped jobs. But I would definitely have to go with Lamar Jackson and the Baltimore Ravens. Like I said, and if I had to choose just between the two quarterbacks, I'm leaning Josh over Lamar. Like I said, I'm splitting hairs, but organizational wise, the Ravens are just more equipped all around as a team. If I was a head coach looking at both situations, and I'm looking at both divisions, New England is starting to find their way. New England's finding their way at this point. They got their quarterback of the future, Drake May. They started to put all the pieces around him. Vrabel's been there, done that. He's won the Super Bowls as a player. He was a good head coach. And Tennessee, he was unceremoniously let go in Tennessee. They don't know what they're doing down there. They trying to figure it out. Hopefully Robert Saleh can put it together down there. I'm really rooting for him down there. I'm a big fan of Cam Ward. Everybody know I love Cam Ward as a player and to watch his growth. So interested to see what goes on there. But Vrabel was able to go back home, and he got them guys together, and they playing well. So you got to deal with that situation. You know what I mean? So that's going to be a fight to the end for a long time over there in that AFC East. Meanwhile, this AFC North is leaking. We don't even know if Joe Burrow want to stay in Cincinnati too much longer. I mean, he's made a lot of comments, and maybe he's had enough. So, excuse me. We don't know if that's a situation he even wants to stay in. We'll see one more year of it, and maybe he, at some point asks for a trade. We don't know. But Cincinnati has underachieved immensely. And if they roll and Joe get hurt, or they start off slow, and they've done like 3 years in a row, don't make the playoffs, and everybody else is a wash in the AFC North. Baltimore fired their head coach because he just didn't meet expectations. And it can be argued that they jumped the gun and fired Harbaugh. So if I had to choose between the jobs, I'm definitely taking the Baltimore job. Just better roster building, better roster construction, better, the GM better, the weapons are better. The quarterback, like I said, you're splitting hairs on the quarterback. It's really, do you like whiskey or do you like gin? You know what I mean? Like, you like vodka. You like, you know what I mean? Like, you like, hamburger, hot dog. It's one of those situations with the quarterback, but everything else around him, I'm going with the Baltimore Ravens situation. You guys can let me know in the comments. I appreciate you guys coming in and hanging out with me tonight. Definitely want to pull up. We're going to be on the schedule of doing these shows Monday, Wednesday, or Friday. 7:15 is what time we'll be doing the shows. I know I was running a little bit late. I'm going to get better with that on my end. Apologies to you guys for coming in. If you came in late and I was not started yet, that's on me. I'll get it better as I'm going here. Trying to put some systems in place right now because it's not I ain't got no big production right now. I ain't got there yet. You know what I mean? So, just trying to make sure everything in place and coming up with this system today. I have a list that you guys can see what we're talking about today, and I can actually go by the list. That works out perfectly. So, we gonna keep building. And I'm proud of what we doing. I'm proud of you guys that come in and you hang out in here with me. That's much appreciated. Really enjoy you guys. Even if you ain't saying that, you're lurking around. That means you paying attention to the content. You feel like I'm doing somewhat of a good job. And if you feel like it's something that I can add to the show or get better with, hey, let me know. I ain't one of those guys that don't want to hear you guys. You know, I don't have to agree with everything, but I ain't one of those, overly rigid people where I don't hear you. If you got something that you feel like you want to say that I could do better, or you would like me to add to the show, or you think I'm doing a good job, make sure you guys leave it in the comments after the show, or you can leave it in the live, or whatever the case may be. But again, I appreciate you guys stopping by tonight, hanging out with me. Had to get back on, and I was going to talk about Fernando Mendoza today. I was going to talk about him, but I'm going to hold that because I want to get one of my buddies on and actually go in depth on what we're, especially him going into the draft. I will say this, like I said on Twitter the other night for the national championship game, which was a great game, by the way. That just did not look like a college game. That looked like an NFL game. But Miami got some dogs on that defense. That Ruben Bain Jr. is something. He is a monster. He is a monster. Like, he's like Aaron Donald-esque. Not saying he's Aaron Donald, so y'all better not come in here talking about, they ain't talking about he the next Aaron Donald. Listen, calm down. I said Aaron Donald-esque. But he has talent. He has amazing talent. And he was all over them. And Indiana front, they was having a hard time holding him. But Mendoza is a gamer. He is a gamer. Dude is gutsy. That touchdown play to run in and do his version of the John Elway almost. My man can play. He can play. Now, is he a bona fide first number one pick? We're going to talk about that in the next couple of days. So, like I said, be on the lookout. Check your notifications. Monday, Wednesday, and Friday will be our times. 7:15. It might be like 7 o'clock to 7:15. That's our window of when this live is going to start. I'm going to get better on my end as far as that goes. Also, be on the lookout for something special that is going to drop probably tomorrow night. We starting something new. And listen, if you like what I'm about to drop, tell a friend to tell a friend. Even this show, you like what I'm doing with this show, tell a friend to tell a friend if they into football, want to come shoot the breeze over here, got opinions on everything else. I be getting so many views and comments on TikTok. If you're on TikTok, you got to come on over here. Now, when I get my new phone, I'm gonna try to set up a live for TikTok too. My wife was telling me to get a new phone for about a year, and I'm just so stubborn. Like, I just don't feel like moving all the information over and resetting this and putting all these apps on there. So I'd be like procrastinating, but I need to go buy a new phone, and I can set up the TikTok. And y'all be trying to get at it on TikTok when I be dropping those little shorts. Now y'all got to convert over. Y'all can't be these old microwave heads where all y'all want to do is take 40-second shorts and sit on them 40-second shorts for however much time and then be writing me whole paragraphs and theses on what you think. Y'all need to get over here in this live and come do that. But I'm talking tough. But hey, I appreciate you guys stopping by tonight. The show don't roll without you guys. Appreciate Luke for stopping by and whoever else has stopped by today, the lurkers, whatever else. You think the content good? hit the like button. If you think some of your friends will like the content, share it. You know what I mean? Leave a comment. If it's something you want to see on the show for Friday, leave it in the comment after the show. I'll check it, and we'll see if it's something that we can add to the show. But I'm going to get off of here. Allergies are a little interesting. Been bothering me all day today, so we're trying to take care of those and be ready for Friday. But I got something coming for you guys. We doing stuff ain't nobody else doing. That's what I would tell you. That's why I'm making sure this is a Monday, Wednesday, Friday thing until it really picks up, where y'all guys are demanding an everyday show. But until then, we got some stuff coming. So, like I say it all the time, until we meet again, guys, until we do it again, y'all have a good night and peace. Everybody be easy. I will see you guys Friday around between 7 o'clock and 7:15. Make sure you guys are checking the post. We're on X. We on TikTok. All of the links is in the bio, so you guys can keep up with what we got going on. And we'll do it again Friday. But be on the lookout for this certain thing that's coming. So that's what I'll say. But you guys have a good night. Peace.